In this wax removal, guys, I had a lovely patient who came through. She's actually quite a regular patient of ours, and she loves to see the wax coming out of the ears. And she was a little bit gutted this time because the wax was a little bit softer, so she didn't get to see it all coming out. But when you look in this canal, lovely peachy canal, looking really, really healthy, and just working my way around this softer plug. Now, the reason that the front end of these plugs tend to be a little bit softer, patients, we advise use a little bit of olive oil before they come along to the appointment if it's safe to do so for them. And that just tends to soften the front end of the wax. So it makes the front end very, very soft, and the back end can sometimes be a little bit more solid, which is what we're starting to see here. You can see this front section breaking down, everything getting sucked inside of the machine here, just working the edges. I'm trying to just maneuver this little bit of wax out of this ear canal. There we go. And you'll see what I mean about this wax. As it's coming out, you can see it's just all getting drawn into the suction tube pretty much straight away. Even that larger piece that you can see is all starting to crumble down into the actual suction tube. So a little bit more in here. Just going to go and get this last little bit. There we go. Out that comes. Lovely, looking very good there. I think, oh, there's just one last, or the two last little bits, I should say. Give that a bit of a clean off there, a little bit of wax on the camera. So we're going to go in now, just grab this little piece here, and there's a little bit further in. A bit more awkward to get to this one because it's tucked just into the anterior recess, but luckily not too much of a pronounced recess there, and it came away really, really well. Try to get that last. Oh, it's very thin. And one more little bit at the bottom. There we go. Eardrum though looking very healthy, lovely light reflex on that side. So eardrum, like it tells us the eardrum is actually sitting in quite a good position. There's no trace of any fluid or anything behind this, so it is looking really, really good. And oh, what have we got here? Not quite as much in this side. So what we can see on this one is we've got this kind of softer wax right at the entrance here, but you can see it's not quite as full as the other side. It hasn't quite reached the sort of roof of the canal. So there is a little bit of a gap running all the way down, which is going to mean that patient's going to be able to still hear really, really well. But out that comes. There we go. Nice. And let's take a look beyond. Oh, just a little collection of that soft wax. Just where we drew it down the canal, little bits kind of came off as it got to the entrance there. One more little bit further in. Might have to switch down to the fine end here to get this last little bit off. Just the reason we've gone for the fine end, you could go down there with a bigger tube, but what you've got is not, if you imagine that's the sort of end of the tube, the wax only comes up there, you've got a lot of suction flow over the top, so it's not going to draw a lot down. Whereas if you've got that much smaller kind of aperture to the tube, it's going to draw a lot more into the actual suction tube itself. But looking very good, bit of tidying up. And there's this last little bit here. Can I get this bit off? Oh, there you go, it was nice and soft. Good light reflex on that side as well, so looking really, really healthy. So the one side completely imploded into the suction tube. So we've got just under 2 centimeters. What's that, about 5/8 of an inch on that side as well. Stay tuned, guys, another video coming up now. Peter's got a foreign body in this one, so I'll let you try and guess what this is. It's a bit more of an unusual one, and you don't normally see it from this angle, so it might throw you a little bit. But nice and clear, whatever that is. You can see it's certainly man-made, whatever that is. So shall I just let you sit on that one? You can have a little think about what that could be while we're getting this out. So he's gone for his favorite tool here. So this is the Rosen inserter. And you can see whatever this is, that's pretty wedged in there. That's kind of doesn't want to leave very easily. And it's more awkward because this is normally facing slightly different direction, which is why he's having a bit more difficulty here, because it's very hard to get a grip on these particular types of objects. You have seen them on the channel before, but it's hard to get a grip on these particular types of objects when they're in this orientation. So this is actually backwards. This is actually back to front now when he's turned this. Have you figured out what it could be yet? You don't get to see it at the end because the patient did take it home with them, but he's had to turn it to try and get a grip. Now, normally we go straight in with a forceps and these come out really, really easily, but because it was facing the wrong way around, it made it a much tougher removal for Taylor here, but he is managing really well. You can start to see the outline of it. There you go. So what that is, it looks like a little hat, but what that actually is a hearing aid dome. So a little rubber tip that fits on the end of hearing aids that keeps it securely in place in the ear canal and directs the sound where it needs to be. So I'm sure that patient was feeling a lot better after that one. Stay tuned for another video, guys. Now, I don't get jealous of Taylor's wax removals too often. But on this one I have, because I haven't done this for a while, we've got a skin ribbon coming up. I keep saying I haven't done a good skin ribbon for ages. And you know what? Taylor said to me while we were doing some voiceovers yesterday, he said, look, I've got a skin ribbon one coming up. It's not a long one, but I've got one coming up. I thought, oh, amazing. By the end of the day, he came back and he said, you'll never guess what, I've had another skin ribbon coming in today. I'm gutted because I love them. One of my favorite ones to do. That along with the eardrum peels. I love a good eardrum peel as well. So what we've got here is, you can see the skin. Taylor's got a good grip here with a suction tube, and he's trying to work this one out. There you go. He's trying to bunch all of that skin into the end of the suction tube. Let me get rid of this mouse. So it's right at the end of the suction. He's kind of packed it all into the end of the suction tube to minimize clarinetting and to get a really, really good grip. And it's pulling really well here. Now, I've do exactly the same as Taylor's doing. I wouldn't switch tools yet because it's still coming out. Look at that. And it's still going, and it's still going, and it's still going, and it's out. Oh, that's a nice one as well. I'm gutted. I would have loved to have got that one. And beyond that, you can see there's another collection. This isn't skin, but looks. I think what you've got behind this part at the bottom here, that's a little bit of skin. But I think what he's got behind that is actually is quite a big old chunk of wax. You saw a little shiver from the patient there. Now, I think what happened there is as that skin lifted, it all compressed into the end of the suction tube, but there wasn't quite enough seal there, so you had some air passing over it, and that's what gives you this clarinetting, which is a really high-pitched shrill whistle. I think that probably happened there with that patient. There you go, that's a little bit of wax. And then what have we got? Oh, a bit more wax further in, almost right down on top of the eardrum. So this patient would have been really, really struggling with their hearing at the moment. Let's give this a little bit of a wiggle. Guys, I did tell you about changes to the membership program that's coming up. That we're hoping is going to go live this week. I didn't think I'd get it done until the end of September, but it looks like that's going live this week. So keep your ears posted. We'll be doing community posts. I'll be doing a video on it just so you know exactly what's going on. So keep your ears and eyes posted for those as well. So let's see if we can get this last little bit. Oh, it's deep. Is it going to lift from this one side? We might be lucky because that's a little bit of skin there. Or is it going to come out that anterior recess? I hope so for him. It's just starting to lift on the one side, but you'll see that. See how the front end is lifting, but the back end is just no movement. Ooh, I haven't said that, there was a little bit of movement then. Did you see that? Where the oil's gone in, you can see, there you go, where the patient actually flinched a little bit. And it's not unusual for that to happen when you get sort of grips on pieces of deeper wax, because it's a more sensitive part of the ear, especially if the back end of it was against the eardrum as well. As you lift, it just puts a little bit of backwards pressure then it's just going to touch sometimes on the back on the surface of the eardrum, and it's not unusual for patients to have a little bit of a flinch. It's a natural reaction, isn't it? So that's coming away really well. Oh, super clean, super duper clean. What's this? Oh, we've got some on the other side as well. There's not a lot of video left, so I think this probably went quite quickly looking at this. Yeah, there's a little gap right, I can see him eyeing it up in that top right corner. There's a little gap there. So I bet he's hoping if you can just lift a little bit of a wiggle, because you've got that gap there, it's going to come out the canal really easily. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Oh, do you know what? That's a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. Oh no, there's more in there, that's why. So there's a little horseshoe of dry skin on the outer part of the ear canal, and then this bigger kind of plug sitting behind it. He's just manoeuvring. There we go, out that plug comes. Now is that all of it, or does it go deeper? That's all of it. Little retraction pocket there. Do you see that to the left-hand side of the eardrum, a little retraction pocket? So his skin ribbon was 3 centimeters. What's that? About an inch, just inch and a quarter, thereabouts, I think, something along those kind of lines. And then 6 centimeters altogether, 2 1/4 inches all together. Wow, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video as much as I did voicing it over. I am so gutted I missed that one. Don't forget, guys, as always, take care of yourselves, take care of your ears, and take care of one another. And myself and the lovely Mr. Taylor Green will see you again. Oh, no, it'll just be me for the next week, because the lovely Mr. Taylor Green's gone to get married this week, so he's going to be on honeymoon for a bit. So, yeah, so he's just stuck with me for a little bit. But I'll catch up with you real soon. Bye, everybody.